Hello and welcome to the fuck. I didn't check the episode for this. 66. I'm going 66. We're gonna say it's 66.
66?
All right. Well, episode 66. I don't have anything too crazy, so let's start with his while I think of more. I guess.
Well, I had the one show I finished, and then I had another thing kind of related to the stuff we talked about last time. But yeah, I finished Link Click, the Chinese. Oh my gosh, what is it called? Let me find the actual name so I don't uh mess up. Like I call it anime. I mean, it is anime. Donghua. Yeah. This
Yeah.
show was so good. I only watched the first season so far.
Is season 2 out yet?
It's airing right now.
Airing. Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
Airing. Okay. Well, there you
I was
go.
gonna
That's
say I
something to
knew it was
follow.
coming soon, but I didn't know if it was
Yeah.
out or not.
And oh my gosh, I was like blown away. Like actually, I think the last time, our last episode, I just mentioned it that I was just started it. I watched like the first 3 episodes, I think, and I was like, oh, it's like kind of episodic. You know, every
And
episode
then
has a
second
self-contained
half, it had
story.
a plot.
Yeah, and
That's how
then
they
it
all
like,
go.
dude, like as you go on, it like um it like all comes together. Like without spoiling it, it feels episodic, but like they're not actual episodes. It's like it is part of like an overarching plot, which is like crazy that like all these like unrelated things are like connected. And I guess the only like spoiler-ish thing I'm gonna say is that the last episode is a huge cliffhanger. And I know PK, you've seen Code Geass, and like you remember the last episode of that first season.
Yep.
Huge cliffhanger there. So second season, I'm glad it's airing because I think I would go like insane if I wasn't able to watch it because yeah, it's crazy. I'm trying to think like what I really liked about it. The characters are good. I think the best part. I mean, I like stories where I don't want to say mystery, but like characters have to try to solve problems. That's like the best way I can think of it. Like there's a like yeah, just like you have to find creative solutions, I guess, to problems. Like maybe not creative, but like um yeah, I don't know. It's just like they have to do different things to solve problems. It's like the most very vague description, but like that's kind of the theme of a lot of shows I like. And I think they did such a good job of it. I think the best the way they did it was just like um as you go on, as like the episodes come out, like the mechanics of like their time traveling thing get explained more and more, and then they like run into issues with like time travel because obviously like time travel, it's like things can go wrong, like people can meet people that they're not supposed to meet, and that can change the future, all that kind of weird time travel stuff that always happens, and then they explain the mechanics of like what prevents the future from changing and things like that. So I think they did a really good job of that and incorporated that into the story. And I mean, the animation was fine, no issues. It didn't feel like it was like much worse than other anime I've seen. Yeah, I don't know. It's just really good. Like legitimately, I would recommend it. It's it's nice. It's nice.
It's
So
funny
yeah, that was
mentioning mentioning all the different events that like somehow interweave at the end.
Yeah.
Unlocked a memory of a fucking I'm trying to look up the movie to find exactly what it is. I think it's Crash. But essentially there's like movie starts with a car crash and then there's like 6 or 7 different perspectives that throughout the movie you watch, and it feels kind of random.
I feel like I've
It's
seen this
just like
movie.
these people all around that area, and then at the end it like all comes together into this
Yeah.
big,
Oh my
like,
gosh.
car
I
crash
swear I've seen. I
incident.
feel like I've seen this movie. I feel like I saw it like as like a middle school or something.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about this movie. Some
Yeah.
good, some bad.
Yeah.
A little
I
bit of
guess this one's like I mean, it's about the. Oh no, never mind, never mind. Yeah, yeah. I guess.
But
The
yeah,
thing about,
it just like unlocked that memory, even though it's
Mhm.
not the same thing of just like a
Yeah, yeah.
bunch of random events that like come together, and all of a
Oh, right,
sudden
right,
like
right. Yeah,
all
yeah,
of
yeah.
those random events matter.
Yeah, yeah. And it feels like really mundane things, but it's
Yeah,
like a character from one
like it's
episode
like,
just.
why do I care about
Yeah.
these people?
Yeah, and then it all comes together, and then the cliffhanger drops, and it's like, oh my god, I gotta watch the second season now. It's just like so good. Um, but yeah, like I actually, now that I've seen this, I mean, I know, like I mentioned last time, like Link Click is like the only like Donghua Chinese anime that I like. Um, that's like really famous and like well known, I guess. I mean, it seems to have really good reviews and stuff like that. But I do want to kind of try some other ones if they're good, because I didn't feel like it was like too different from Japanese anime. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, the story is amazing, like legitimately so good. So, um,
Dumb.
yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome, like legit one of the best shows I've seen in a while.
I always feel like I see like the most wild clips for like Chinese animation on Twitter, and then I'll look at like the replies, and it'll be like, "Oh yeah, it's not out yet." Yeah, I'm like, "Oh," and then I just never hear anything about them ever again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, are they just all like trailers and stuff
I,
like
I, I
that?
fucking guess it'll be like the most insane animation you've seen, and then it's like, yeah, it's not really shit, and then you'll just never hear about it ever again. It makes I
Yeah,
don't
maybe the animation's too insane. They just can't
yeah
get it out.
I don't fucking know, dude.
I don't know because
Maybe they're allowed
Link
to
Click,
take their time.
yeah, Link Click didn't have like insane animation or anything like that. I wasn't like blown away, but like yeah, it was just solid and just the story definitely carried a lot of it. And the conflict between the characters was good. Time travel is a big thing. It's not something you can just like easily mess with, right? So there's obviously going to be conflict with the characters deciding to do certain things, and I thought they did a really good job of displaying that and like incorporating it into the
Making it
story.
easy to consume.
Yeah,
Also.
that too. Yeah, it's. I mean, the story is like the um events or like the problems that they try to solve, right? Like the clients come to them with a photo, they go back in time and like mess with certain things uh, to solve whatever problem the client has, and the clients have problems that are like realistic, right? I mean, obviously the time travel part isn't, but like, I think
Hmm.
like last time I mentioned the finding like an ingredient for like a noodle soup or something like that, and then the other one was like um finding a missing child, things like that. I mean, these are realistic problems, so it's like not hard to get into, like get invested um in trying to solve the client's problems, right? Like those are like
Hmm.
very real things that you can get emotionally attached to. So it's not like, sure, the time travel part is like unrealistic, but the rest of it is it's very mundane or like something that people can relate to some extent at least. So yeah, uh, amazing show, legitimately like really really good. So I would recommend it. If you're like, I mean, I know like it being Chinese is like different from a lot of anime people have seen, but like it's good. It's good. It's really. So yeah, that
Fair
was
enough.
like my
That was your
freaking
big.
my shilling Link Click. I
Okay.
mean,
And
I
now,
can't.
now it's back to Attack on Titan, surely.
Yeah. It is. It is. It
Clueless
is.
emoji.
Well, no, I don't know. Dude, the cliffhanger was so good. I have to finish season two, dude. Oh, it's like, yeah. I mean, we'll see. I kind of want to. It's pretty short. Like, well, I mean, I guess the second season is not finished, right? It's still, you
Yeah.
guys mentioned, yeah. So I don't know how many episodes are out now, but oh, it
It
looks like
depends how
it's
you like. Yeah, I was gonna say it depends
six
how you like to
episodes.
watch
So I mean,
stuff.
I might as
Cause
well just catch up with whatever they're at now. So
yeah,
yeah, there you go. That was the most passionate I've been about a show in a while because I think just like it was just great, just
fair enough.
amazing.
So I've
Um,
been spending this week. I say week, the past 2 days, and I didn't do anything before then. Anyway, catching up on various seasonals.
mhm.
Um, I dropped the girl I like forgot her glasses, which I guess is a fun first place to start.
Well, why'd you drop it?
They
It's
made the
just
main
so
character so
much.
annoying.
The main so so I've been told he's way like more tolerable in the manga.
I never like
So
thought about how awful like it could be until
until him.
like the animation has become like the least. Why I say the
Yeah,
animation's
that
always been
is
like
true.
fine in my opinion, even if it's overboard. But like I feel like they add fuck. I'd have to like I'm not gonna reread the manga to go find out, but I feel like they just added more annoyance to him, and I
Yes,
don't know
I
why.
agree. Based on conversations I've had with people who have read it, it sounds like that might be the case, or at least the general consensus seems to be he felt less annoying in the manga.
I don't know if it's because
But
I'm
I just
I don't
can't
know.
handle it.
I feel like they might be
The-
extending the chapters because in the manga, at least at the start, like later on, they get to like normal length, like 20 pages a chapter.
Yeah.
But then, like at the very start, it's very short, like 4 to 10 pages you'll get per chapter, and so it didn't have enough time for him to feel annoying, I guess. But they're
Yeah, that's
because it's
also a
anime, they have to
possibility.
draw it out. I don't know.
He's just like he's way too much for me. And it's even outside of the main character, I didn't feel that unique compared to like any other of the high school. I guess they're middle school in this, aren't they?
Yeah.
Either way, the like school crush romance
Mhm.
rom com. I can find a million of those, and most of them don't have an MC as annoying as this kid.
Damn. Wait, why is he annoying, like, specifically? Like, what does he do?
He literally fucking comes every time she exists.
Okay, so he's just like a turbo simp
That's
or
just the
whatever.
best way I can put
Yeah,
it.
Turbo Senpai.
Like
Eh,
to the like it sometimes there are things that she'll do that I'm like, okay, fine, this is like a valid time for you to have such an absurd reaction. But like I think it's episode 2, she just like accidentally puts his shoes on and he freaks out mentally about her wearing the same shoes as him.
oh, I'm out,
And
bro.
I'm just like, are you kidding me?
He's a feet guy or what?
It's just shoes.
He's a her guy.
He is
Oh,
a her guy. Anything she does, he
okay,
freaks out about.
got it.
That being said, I could see it being very cute as like a manga, or even him like being more bearable as it goes on. But
Yeah.
I couldn't do it anymore. Not in this format.
Understandable.
Um,
Is the animation like still crazy? Like,
I don't
so
feel like it's
most of the
done
time
anything.
most of the time it's not too bad. It has a couple of those weird, like really highly animated sequences.
the
But for the
motion,
most part,
that stuff is weird.
it's just like very nice, like very well animated in a way that's like not jarring. It just every
Got
so often it would have, especially early on, it would have those random scenes that would be like, "Whoa, calm down, guys."
Yeah, like in the first episode, they like for the whole like first 5 minutes, camera angle, like or camera
Yeah.
movement rather.
I don't know if you guys have seen anything as it's been going super viral of the new One Piece episode. And I won't say
I
too
muted.
much.
No, what
I muted
happened?
it on Twitter because Jesus Christ, I hate Shonen
Yes.
fans.
It's absolutely fair. Um, it's also like very major spoilers for anyone who would want to get into One Piece. So I'm not gonna say details,
Uh-huh.
but I had a similar feeling with that episode. Everyone's been freaking out about it because it's like so many good animators behind it and so many like really nice sequences. But it was the same thing with that, where there was a few sequences in it that I was just kind of like, okay, I understand as an animator you popped off, but it might have looked better if you didn't pop off so hard. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I feel like the only like complaint I'd seen about it, besides the fact the fans are annoying as shit, is like they drew out the episode like a motherfucker. But that's just One
Yeah,
Piece.
I mean that's One Piece. Like
It's just shonen in general.
One Piece is too close to the manga to do more than like a chapter and some change per episode because it still releases weekly.
Yeah.
And so that's just something that people have to deal with. It was kind of funny though that they had an animation. Went to the intercut, which would be the commercial break, and then did the exact same animation afterwards, but without like the dialogue. They just like showed off the animation again.
Understandable. Yeah,
I
some
still-
shows do that.
I still can't believe this. The girl I like forgot her glasses. Like that animation I was gonna mention is just like I still can't believe that they put so much budget or whatever.
So much
It's so
effort
much into
it.
that. Like whether it's budget or just like time. I mean,
I agree.
it's just
And
like
that's
crazy. Like it's a random
where
anime.
it's
Like
weird
I don't know.
sometimes
It's just go hands.
because it's just like you didn't have to pop off this much, and I almost feel like it hurt the final product
Yeah, I
at
mean,
times that they popped off so much.
mostly it's like not the genre that you would think would like require
Uh-huh.
that kind of animation, or like would benefit from it, I guess.
I mean, it
I
doesn't
don't know.
really benefit from it. It's like, oh wow, that's very technically impressive. Do we need to do that?
Yeah, it's like impressive to look at, but it doesn't like contribute anything. You know,
I
it's like
think
fluff. It's
like
fluff.
Gohan's, what's it called? Like studio uh slogan or whatever is like advanced animation. So I think they're just trying to be cool, but like
Hmm.
I don't know, dude. I mean, you could put all that effort into something else. I don't know. They're taking all these like goofy little series that no one's gonna care too much about, and then putting it towards them. They have another show airing the season as well with the very very big cat humanoid
Cat is
thing.
depressed again today.
Yeah, I haven't
What is
seen.
this?
What is it? Oh, it's the cat in a
Yeah, it's just big fucking cat. I'm not watching it. So
big cat.
so I don't know anything about it. Apparently, this also has some
Yeah, I'm
goofy
watching.
stuff in it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the trailer. There's some very intense driving on the highway, like driving on a bridge. Yeah, this stuff is
I mean,
they
if
like
they
the
want,
camera angles. I'll say
yeah, I
that.
was gonna say if they want to like pop off and try and do like these revolutionary things, I guess go for it, right?
It just feels like a weird genre.
Um,
But yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
It's like imagine this in
The
like
only
action, like the camera angles in like an action show. That'd be kind of crazy.
yeah, that's true. I mean, if at the end of the day what they want to do is just pop off with the animation
Yeah,
and
go ahead. I
adapt
guess
stuff, like they're doing it. I don't know if it's improving or
I don't think it contributes
hurting
anything.
their final product as like an art form, but
I
they're
guess it gets
definitely
people to
popping
talk
about.
about it. Any publicity is good publicity, right?
Yeah, that
Theoretically,
is true.
maybe. I don't know.
The only other two noteworthy things. Well, I'm rewatching Love Live Sunshine, which is so good, but that's not noteworthy.
It's not
I
a,
watched.
how often do you do it? Is this your first rewatch or
This
is
is my
this
first
something?
rewatch.
Okay,
I
it's not a
watched Love
regular
Live
thing.
Sunshine
Got it.
years ago. I'm rewatching it with Resh. It is better than I remember it. Is how I would put it.
Okay.
Because it's easy to forget that some of the Love Lives have good stories. Because OG doesn't really have a particularly great story.
Hmm.
And Nijigasaki is kind of, it has some like good story stuff, but it's more slice of lifey. But like Sunshine and Superstar are both like pretty good anime.
Oh,
This
It's
Jesus,
been
judge for
nice to
that.
rewatch. It's been nice to
Okay,
rewatch and be like,
Daniel's
yeah, this
unconvinced.
this one is like pretty nice. Um, I watched all 5 episodes of Helk, which was not what I was expecting at all. I don't really know what I was expecting.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think the problem was I knew Helk as a recommendation from a specific friend, and so in my head, it kind of was just in the same like general area as the other stuff that he's recommended, and
okay.
then I watched it, and it really isn't all that similar.
The only person I know who likes this manga, their name or username starts with an M.
Yes,
that would
Same
best. That
person.
would be it.
that would be the one.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's good though. I'm entertained by the first couple episodes. I don't really know. It's a 2 core, so
Mhm.
it has a lot of time to win me over. Um, I don't really know where I sit with it as like, would I be a fan of it, or is it just kind of something that I'm like moderately entertained by?
It's not an isekai, right? It's just like a fantasy-ish.
Yeah, it's fantasy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, okay,
fantasy.
makes sense. Okay, interesting.
And then Daniel will probably maybe want to talk about this a little bit. I did just watch the new episode of Seven Spellblades, and it kind of popped off.
It do be going hard. Like, I mean, I liked it
I
at
have
first,
so many questions.
but it's been getting continuously better every episode.
Yeah, that's how I feel. The first episode or two, I remember being in call with Resh watching it, and the first episode or two, I was kind of like, I don't know how sold on this I am, but it's like
Hey, you
good
said it
enough
on
to
here as
keep
well.
going. Yeah. But yeah, it's been getting more interesting by the week. I do still get the feeling that reading it would probably be, I don't
Yeah,
want to say a better experience,
I think
but
there's like parts of it, like the twist in today's episode,
Yes,
I
exactly.
think would have been harder to deduce from reading, because I like predicted it last week in because I do little weekly
Yep.
Twitter threads on this one, and so I called. Well, I didn't like. I don't know. I called like the main aspect of
Called yeah.
it. And so I think that I think it's a visual medium, and they're showing certain things that maybe I wouldn't know otherwise, and so it made it easier to deduce that. But I think what
I
we
also
wouldn't
think
get
there's
would be like episode 4, like popped off with the camera angles and the animation.
Yeah.
They did what Gohan's wishes they could do. And
that is true.
you wouldn't get that type of, experience from reading.
There's also like I still feel like it's not that I'm missing information, but knowing the way that a lot of shows are adapted off of light novels, I do wonder if like reading the novel would give me a lot of the information that I am still like want to know more
Apparently,
about.
there's a prologue they didn't do. So we talked. I think we mentioned how it had 15 episodes. Apparently,
Yep.
it's 13 episodes, but it's gonna have 2 OVAs.
It's gonna have 2 OVAs. I see.
Yes, I don't know.
And those are gonna
Apparently,
be
there's a prologue and an
Probably the
epilogue,
prologue. Yeah.
and I don't know. I don't. We could have gotten the epilogue today too, and I would have known.
So is season 1 then just like first volume?
So we
volume?
just concluded the first volume.
Okay, so it's
For
probably
this episode.
2 volumes, but it could be 3.
The second one seems a bit shorter. I think they could do
Yeah.
3. I don't know what the contents are. So I
Like
would.
Magi Revo was the same. It did 6 episodes for the first volume and did the second half of the season with the next 2 volumes.
Yeah, because like the first volume is definitely a thicker. Like you can tell that shit has a prologue in it and an epilogue. I think what we saw at the second half of this episode was probably the epilogue, if I had to guess, and they haven't done the prologue, but I have no fucking clue. So who
It's
knows?
interesting. I think I might read this one when it's finished.
Yeah,
Depending how it
I'm
goes,
waiting.
but-
I'm waiting for it to finish before I crack open
And
the
I'm
novels.
obviously not the best at reading, so but I feel like there might be stuff to gain from reading it that I don't want to say I'm missing out with the animation, but just different mediums give you different perspectives.
Yeah, there's no ultimate medium. There's just multiple different ways to experience things. Speaking of other mediums, I guess going away from light novels and anime, I started a manga recently.
Oh.
I am
Is it-
49 chapters into Blue Box.
Oh, I do. He is in the Blue Box.
Wait, what's the shit? What's this manga?
So Blue Box is one of my favorite mangas.
Box.
I
It's
put it in
Oh,
the thing there.
little
Boy.
like
Badminton.
romance story of a badminton player
Oh,
and a
it's-
basketball player.
Yeah, it doesn't focus too much on like the sport aspect of it, so it's really just a romance that has sports in the background. At least for now, anyway. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Mm, okay.
It has some good sports moments, but yeah, I would not classify it as a sports series.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Given that I read like all the hardcore sports series or watch them, this to me is more of like an in between.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it just like just a comfy romance, or is there like a lot of conflict? Or is it just like
I mean, I would say there's definitely drama in there. It's not like
okay, yeah.
I wouldn't put it like as dramatic as it's not that dramatic, but it's also not like a fluff. So
Okay.
Yeah.
it's somewhere in between there, a typical romance. I haven't read it since I started it, probably because I got spoiled on it. Not that I didn't know not that I didn't know what was going to happen anyway, but
How'd you get spoiled? Just Twitter or what?
Twitter motherfuckers.
Oh my god, it's always Twitter,
They
bro.
never
delete that app.
spoil
Delete
tag their fucking manga panels.
And I know exactly what they posted because it would have been like a week ago.
No, not a
Okay.
week ago. It was
Or a couple weeks ago. Recently.
it had to do with, I mean, I'll just fucking deem it to you. You probably know what I'm talking about anyway, but
Yeah.
like
I mean, I know what happened over the last few chapters, so
I mean,
it's almost certainly. Yeah, I was gonna say it's almost certainly that.
yeah, I mean, I don't know anything outside of like the one panel, but I'm like, okay, well, cool. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this was the expected outcome. I know that I've been fighting a losing battle since I started reading it. So
It doesn't help that there's a whole one shot that I know you haven't read the one shot. The one shot's pretty cute, and I feel like it would be weird if that wasn't the result.
I mean, I'm not surprised it was the result. I'm just, you know, even if I knew from before I started it, even if I hadn't gotten spoiled, how this was going to go down. And yet, it's still like the tragedy of reading anything with like a love triangle in it, and you like the person that is guaranteed going to take the L. More, I mean, maybe my opinion will change, probably not, but I don't know. The tragedy of reading romances.
I think they're all good characters, so I don't necessarily expect your opinion to change.
Is there an anime scheduled
Coming
for
from
it, or
someone
is
who
it
likes the other. There is
it's
not
one rumor.
So, yeah, there are rumors. It's published in Shonen Jump, and it's fairly successful, like really well regarded. It's only like a little over 2 years old.
okay, fair
So
enough.
like,
I mean, it's got
generally
over
speaking,
100 chapters, so I mean, it'll
generally
got
speaking, it's
time.
a little young, but it's about time
Right.
that like those conversations are probably happening or
What's like
coming to a close.
the fastest manga has been adapted into an anime, aside from like I don't know, I guess like a simultaneous
mean,
release, something ridiculous.
I
like
don't
that.
know if I could.
Boruto?
I don't. Does that count? Do we want to count
I,
that?
does
what?
Boruto count? I mean, I feel like
that's
Boruto is pretty quick.
it's like a serial from like
But yeah,
extension of Naruto, right? So it's like
so you're thinking like new
Yeah, like a
anime?
new IP.
I don't know. I mean,
It's
surely
difficult
at least
to
like a year and a half.
yeah, I don't have
2
all the
years.
information in front of me. I'm just like thinking like
we talked
I mean-
about what's it called? A Sign of Affection, like 12 chapters in or whatever. It's been in production for a while, but then like a hiatus stopped and shit like that. So I feel like that got one pretty quick, but I don't know what the actual fastest would be.
when was the hiatus, or like when did the not the hiatus itself, but like it says the manga started in 2019 and the show
the anime's been in production for 3 years apparently. So started 2019, would have
right.
2020 would have happened, which then there were a lot of things in 2020 besides the hiatus that would have caused,
that would have been fast, yeah.
Yeah, it caused some issues. But
I do feel like as part of this metric, it has to be like from when it started being published to when it actually aired.
Okay.
I feel like that's like an easy, like if we were to research this and look into it, I feel like it has to be by air date and not by like when production starts.
in that case, I have no
because
fucking
we don't
clue.
know when stuff starts production.
Is weekly okay. Shonen.
I don't. Yeah, I feel like there's just
the
too
one-
many
the one
anime
I'm
for
looking
me
at
to
is, like,
ever think.
What's this show called? Girlfriend, right? The one with the red hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. It's the fastest adaptation in the history of Weekly Shonen magazine, which is like obviously one. It's
Which
not
is a pretty
all of like manga, but an unprecedented
It's, like,
speed of only 8 months. 8 months from the start of serialization, which is crazy.
8 months. That is kind of crazy.
It's actually
And
crazy.
horny motherfuckers are really out here.
Yeah, that's it. That's why
I mean,
they saw that
are
and they were
we
like, "Yeah,
serious?
we're gonna make a lot of money from this." So, yeah, manga began serialization on March 4th and announced on November 2020. It's an announcement, but yeah, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, I guess like 2 years, 3 years, and kind of probably on average a little bit more than that makes sense. So yeah.
But that's why, like, Blue Box, it has enough content. I think I know generally where it would end. The first season
Yeah.
also, but it's probably about time for it to get an adaptation. It's just kind of a question of one, who is doing it, and two, how far those conversations have gone.
I feel like I've seen rumors for 2024, but I don't fucking know.
I have seen rumors for 2024, but it's hard for me to know how much to trust rumors that I see unless it's like someone I really know is credible.
Yeah, because I saw like it was just a list of like things that were rumored. I think 2024 question mark. So I think if it does, it'll be like late 2024.
I agree.
Like
But
probably fall.
I imagine I imagine it'll happen soon. I know it'll happen because I think Blue Box is just too popular generally and too highly regarded to
That
not
makes
get
sense.
anything.
I mean, I'll definitely get something at the very least.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But I guess speaking of manga,
Yeah.
a big old like a month-long hiatus from Oshinoko and Love Agency due to health issues from the author.
Oh
I
He
shit.
says
remember
he's
everyone thought it
fine
was
now.
yeah.
He's also playing Apex Legends.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I remember when all the rumors were it was because he was going to an Apex tournament.
Yeah, I feel like he only. I don't know if he was ever going to touch on his hiatus until there was the tweet about him playing Apex or whatever that went off, and so everyone was like, "Oh, he's taking a month off to fucking play Apex," but no, he's had some health problems, and they're giving him a month off to just, I guess get better, recover, be fresh, which is fine. Now some people get mad at that, even though they don't know how like unbelievably grueling it is. Like he's not drawing his manga, but he's still coming up with two different stories at the same time, which is not like easy.
Yeah, it's not easy.
And he just got done with Kaguya, for which he worked on for hundreds of chapters. So it's like give the man a break. Let him play his Apex, even if we all wish things would happen faster.
He lives a secret second life as a professional
As
Apex
a
Legends
professional
player.
Apex player,
Yeah, I mean,
down.
you know.
That'll be his final work. Is just his life story as doubling as a cracked Apex player and then also a mangaka.
Yeah, actually, that was actually one of the things I was going to talk about. Is like, I think last time we mentioned like shows, maybe it was the last time or the previous episode, where it was like, um, shows like Shirobako and New Game that go into like,
Mm-hmm.
I guess like entirely focused on the workplace, right?
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask like what concepts or like um premises or kind of stories do you think like have not been explored in anime that you'd like to see? One thing which I guess is very new and like I want to say it has the potential to be really bad, but like I just want to see it as like the career of like an esports player. Like I don't know why that
I think
just
there's something coming out about that soon.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't
get it.
remember what the fuck it's called. Hold
Uh-huh.
on, let me.
I mean, also, it's not like a big focus, but technically in Yama 999, he is a professional gamer.
Wait, what's the show?
Uh, what's the full name? Loving
My
Yamada
love
Kun
story.
to level 999.
My
or
love
something
story
like
with
that.
Yamada Kun at level 999.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Um,
yeah.
it doesn't really focus a ton on him being a pro gamer, but like technically he is an esports player. So
Yeah.
and there is some mention in like notes about it.
Gotcha.
So that comes to mind, although I don't think it's as in depth as like what you're thinking. Because if I compare it to like a Shirobako or a New Game, like those are series that are entirely about those
Yeah, that's what I mean, right?
professions.
Yeah. It's just I mean, that was just one example. I mean, there are a couple
Yeah.
others I was thinking of, but like esports definitely. I mean, like you could. The thing is, it's like because esports is like I mean, it's a video game thing, right? It's like the player is like the conflict between two teams or two players is going to be done virtually. I guess is like the best way to describe it. It's not like a
Mhm.
soccer game or like a tennis match where like um the two players themselves, the two main characters themselves, right, are playing against each other so they can like talk to each other or I mean like in Haikyuu there's just like
Yeah, I was gonna say. So are you thinking this would be in the format of like a sports anime more?
yeah, that's what I was thinking,
Um,
but like it's hard, right?
that's that is very hard. I
Because
also
it's like not the
struggle
characters
to
themselves,
think of
right?
how it would be
Mhm.
entertaining.
I don't know,
Although
there are a lot
anything
of
could be
They
entertaining
gotta
within
play
yeah,
that
anything
Rocket
can
League.
anything could
but
be terrible, so
Rocket League would definitely be the game of choice if I was writing
yeah, rocket
this.
league rocket league were pretty lit. But that was one of the things I thought about. I don't know if you guys have any other like concepts you think haven't been explored in anime, like whether it's feasible or not to explore them. I don't know. some like
I don't know if I
premises.
can think anything off the top of my head because like I feel surely it's there's just so many things. Oh, I think I might have found it. Hold on.
I think as
Actually
like,
airs next season.
as like a sports anime person, I think there's a lot of series from the perspectives of players, but it would maybe be interesting to have a series from the perspective of like coaching or management and how that differs.
Okay.
Because the way most sports series act essentially is the coach is just part of the team, which is true. And they'll
Yep.
get like little nods and stuff like that. But it would almost be interesting to go through like someone's coaching career and see like the changes in the type of teams they have and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's another thing that I'm like, I don't necessarily know how interesting it could be or what you would do over time.
Yeah, I think there are two challenges also that I thought of, or like one challenge and one like quote unquote solution. Like, one challenge is also explaining the rules of like I feel like esports and like video games are like a little bit more complicated than sports, or at least there's like a
I don't know about that. Depends on like
I don't
the
know.
it depends on the game for sure. I just feel like yeah, I guess it would
like
depend on
it
the
would
game.
be like CS:GO is pretty. You can pick up a game of
Yeah,
CS:GO
yeah,
or
I guess
Rocket League without any problems. Like maybe something like Rainbow Six Siege, where it's like, okay, well, there's this operator who does this and that and this and that.
yeah, okay,
Then
that's
you
true.
have to
That's
have all
true.
this map knowledge to properly understand why certain things are happening. But you can say
Mhm.
that about like football too. For
Yeah,
like,
CS
you can see the running back running the ball and be like, oh yes, of course. But that doesn't mean like you understand like what's happening behind the play because there's ways the offensive linemen have to move, the defense is moving
sure,
a certain way because of certain reasons. There are a lot of things going on under the surface in like every sport and esport that we don't understand, or
Yeah,
like are just
that's
not
true.
privy to if you're just watching it.
Sure, sure,
Everything
sure.
has like a level of complication behind it. Even if
Yeah,
something
for
like
sure.
as simple as chess, their minds are going through all this different shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. That
Uh,
stuff at the highest level, it's insanely
yeah,
complicated. So
but I did put in the chat. So this is
yeah,
actually airing next season, and it has Inari Minase as the main character. So I guess I'll be watching it now. But it's I guess it is like an esports anime.
no,
It
it
looks
is.
like yeah.
I think reading the premise of this one, I think that kind of like like I don't want to say solves, but like kind of alleviates one of like the issues you might have with like an esports game where it seems like I mean I haven't seen this show, obviously it's not out, but like um it seems like it's focused on the main character and like um using esports as a vehicle to um try to rescue his esports cafe from debt, right? Um
It's called
so like focusing on like one character rather than I guess like like something like Haikyuu. That's like I mean it's the only sports anime I've seen. I'm sure PK has other examples, but like um,
I
it's a
think
lot more
Ace of
about
the
the actual
Diamond
gameplay, right?
is Ace of the Diamond would be an example of how what you would want, where it's very ensemble with its cast and like
Hmm.
everyone get not necessarily everyone gets their moment, but everyone gets like attention and all
Hmm.
everything is fleshed out in terms of
Yeah,
positions and stuff like that. Like for example, with an esports thing, um, let's say the main character plays League and he's like a top laner, right?
yeah,
Well, early
classic.
on, you're obviously going to learn top lane and stuff like that, and specifics
Yeah,
with how that works. But eventually, you would also want to have content that talks about like the jungler or
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
bottom
for
lane
sure,
and stuff that like those characters do and how like what they do is different and also important.
sure, sure. Yeah, I guess like I mean, I guess like, it seems like from this show it's focused on like the main character, which is like I feel like a good way to get around like some of the complications of an
I
esport.
think the only thing to me
Yeah.
that's concerning with what you're saying versus this, and it might not be an issue because this is an original. This is not an
Yeah.
adaptation, so it only has the characters we've seen.
Uh-huh.
But it doesn't look like it has a particularly big cast at the moment. And
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
not
what
sure.
you would
Yeah.
want is at least like a core cast
Yeah,
of people.
ideally. It's just like yeah, it's hard to translate that to esports. It could be hard. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe there's some more creative writers that could do it. Um but at the very least, like using esports as like a vehicle for like an overarching story, I guess. Like I'm sure this guy will have some like internal conflict and things like that. Or with at
it's
least with the
something
people
in the
who's close.
direction of what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, this is cool. I didn't know this,
yeah,
but this is actually like it's kind of cool. I'll have to check it out because like um I don't know. It's just an interesting premise that I
The
thought didn't exist, but you know,
anime name will be Our Rainy Protocol for anyone who is
our
interested.
rainy protocol. Okay, got it.
You're right. I don't think we had
Yeah,
said
we
that
did
this
not
whole
say
time.
that, and then I had to wait
Oops.
for a place to
You
interject.
didn't.
It's written by a story creation lab, so it's like a group of 4 people. And I'm looking at their stuff, and I don't know any of it, so I cannot really comment on anything here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find any.
Another
anime.
thing, it's like really stupid, but like, it's kind of hard in like, but like, this sounds so stupid. It's gonna sound so lame because it is, but like, someone, like, I guess it's serious, man. I'll just say it. Like, someone's studying for a test. Like, I know that sounds really stupid, but like,
Okay.
focusing on like school itself, like, I know that's like boring, and like maybe it's like I know like in my limited knowledge of like Japan, like education is taken like extremely seriously there, right? Like they have a very difficult like entrance exam and college entrance exam and stuff like that. But I don't know, just like school is always like the backdrop, and that's like, I mean, I understand
Okay.
why, right? Like,
What about this school anime, but the
yeah,
main character is an absolute idiot and has
I
to
feel like
figure
there's
out
so many
ways to
shows like
cheat.
that though.
Yeah, there
Oh,
probably is.
yeah, I don't know, maybe.
He has to figure out creative ways to get the answers.
Oh, wait, that's kind of cool. I like that. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Um,
It's something.
you could do like little shorts with
I
that
feel
too.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about that one. I get it
No,
because
I don't know. It just feels like
the idea
school.
that you're grasping for is like more not necessarily mundane things, but also like things with nuance to them that you feel like hasn't been explored.
Yeah.
And I would agree with that. But then it's also like, does studying for your tests need to be explored as an
No, it
entertainment
doesn't.
medium?
I think what I want more than anything is like a different setting, I
Something
guess.
fresh. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not that there are a lot of anime that I haven't seen. So
Yeah, I was
of
gonna
course
say I
there's
think it's
so
funny for
much.
you to be the one saying that you want something fresh
No,
in
I
this
know. No,
call.
yeah, I don't think it's the freshness thing. It's more like, um I don't know, going in depth into something that's like not normally explored, I guess. I don't know. That's like the best way I can
Hmm.
think of it. I mean, studying for tests is pretty lame. I'm not going to say like it's um
The big
something that
studier
people would
that
want to
you are.
watch, but like I don't know, just something more with like school, like maybe I mean, I know there are some shows that are set in like a college setting, but like I mean, me as a graduate student, there's like not really that much, that's like relatable in terms of like a show there with like the struggles of like being a graduate student. I don't know. So some sort of like yeah, just a different setting, I think is like kind of.
Remake Our Life was almost this, and then
Yeah,
it
it's
Yeah,
wasn't.
not like
that's
It
it's.
started almost
actually
like
that's a
this.
good example. Yeah, that's a really
I
good
mean, they
example.
did work like that. It's just it
Yeah,
wasn't like typical. It's art school type stuff. Like they're
yeah.
making a little short film in one of the like mini arcs instead. But what you're talking about, you'd have to try extremely hard
Yeah, it
with
would it
your
would.
character work to make someone
Uh-huh.
studying for like the math portion of their exam. It's like don't
Yeah, no,
at
no.
any
I
level
think
of
studying is
Well,
like
entertainment.
a bad example, but like
and
I don't know.
the hard part with stuff like that, realistically, is probably it exists, but it wasn't good enough to
True,
like
could be. Yeah,
actually be successful and make it into the public eye.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think
it's not easy to portray those type of things.
yeah.
Like you,
Even if you
yeah, I
do,
don't
even
know.
if you do a good job at it, you're still not guaranteed that people will like it.
Well,
And
Yeah,
at the end of the day,
people.
it is still a business.
Yeah, like when you think about like it could be extremely well written, but people are monkeys, and so it doesn't really matter. They're going to be looking for something that to entertain them. The majority of your audience, anyway. There will always be a subset of people who like want to look at something that is genuinely good and get it out there, but it's just not enough. And I feel like this would just be one of those things. I just don't think it has enough, even as a
no,
niche, to unfortunately do
I
anything.
think Boku Touching a remake. I think that's like actually very good example of like a show that goes into like what you'd expect from like a college class, and like going through the projects and um the
Yeah.
struggles with like a group of working with a group and things like that. And yeah,
Like
I
I
think
think
that's
the
like a good example.
beginning, I think the beginning of it is like the direction that you're thinking.
Probably.
And then it's not that it doesn't do that, but it has this whole fucking other plot to explore that obviously becomes its main
Well,
focus.
another like tangentially related example like I can think of is like I think real life was like also. I mean, it didn't go into like the studying. The studying I'm just saying is like example or vehicle of like things that you can go more in depth in. But like real life was really good because I thought like spending a lot of time in school, like yeah, I think like to summarize what I'm trying to say is like a lot of shows use school as like the backdrop for like
And you
um
want to see it in the foreground.
yeah, I'm a nerd, bro. But
I
real
was
life
gonna
is
say you're not doing much to escape the AI
oh
allegation.
yeah, no, that's they were right, yeah, he's just never wrong, bro. But yeah, that's another one. I don't know if you guys have any other examples of like things. It doesn't have to be like an environment, but like a concept you think hasn't been explored in like anime yet.
Uh, I mean, I don't think I think any thought at the top of my head.
I
It's
think the
kind of hard.
I
problem
don't fucking
is
know.
the stuff that I like. I don't necessarily want to be a new concept as much as like
Mhm.
a new take on the concept, right?
Okay, yeah, makes
Um,
sense.
Spellblade's a good example of this. Nothing Spellblades is doing is particularly unique, but it's doing it in a way that feels new to me.
Well, yeah, there's. I mean, I've said it 10 quintillion times on on the podcast, but there's no story that is like truly unique.
Yeah,
And so you have to find a way to take a concept and maybe combine it with a few other ideas, and that will make it feel fresh. Like you can call Spellblades like Harry Potter or whatever, but especially in this most recent episode, it is completely you can it's like Harry Potter mixed with this and that, and I hate describing shows like that because at the end of the day, if you have to combine a bunch of different things to explain something's plot, like it's unique
it could
enough.
just be better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I agree, but I say that just as a means to be like, I think that off the top of my head, a lot of the stories I enjoy already are like well known enough that it's like I don't necessarily feel like there's something in particular I'm yearning to see.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean,
Is
it's
how
hard
I
to
would
think of it
say.
off the top of my head. I was just thinking
And I
about
mean,
it.
maybe I'll randomly just be thinking of this weeks, months from now, and something will pop into my head, and I'll be like, "Why does that not exist?" But um, I don't know. Off the top of my head, it's like everything that I can think of that's like a story I would want to explore. I have a counter example that's at least like in that direction.
Right. Maybe like people, I don't know, something also like just people doing their job. Like, oh my gosh, like what's a good example? Um,
I mean, Wotakoi is kind of people doing their job while
what,
also.
oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, like going into like a trade or something, like uh it's just hard to make it's hard to make a compelling story. That's like the problem. It's just like
Yeah, like you can't like take an electrician and be like, oh yes,
yeah,
something
I
like
know,
that.
right? I don't know, maybe like some artist or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess yeah,
I mean, they
it's hard.
there probably is something. It's like with art. Art's definitely
Yeah,
like the
for sure, for
easiest.
sure.
Uh, I don't know. Like I guess I mean, fuck it. Hibike Euphonium is like just
Band,
the
yeah.
struggles of band and stuff like that, and it goes very hard into that, and uses that as a vehicle for character growth and such. And so I mean, I guess I don't know. It's you have to find something that is like vast enough, or it can be viewed in an expansive way if you want to I don't know, just explore. It's not there are not many occupations I think that you could
Yeah.
Wasn't there
make a compelling series
wasn't
out
there
of.
a show about like a manga writer? Like there's probably multiple, but like
Well,
I feel like there's one
when
that
you
you
say
guys
that, I think
mentioned.
of Kakushi Goto, which is not quite a manga writer, but
Yeah, he draws Eroge. Well,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I guess.
well, not Ero. When you know what I
But
mean.
that's also not really
Okay.
necessarily. It's not really necessarily that much about his profession. I guess there's a bit.
There's a fair amount about
Yeah,
about
there's a
his
fair
profession
amount.
in
No,
there.
you're right. You're right.
And there are like some things that dabble in it, like Oshinoko touched on it for like, you know, the quick bit, but there's, you know, there's always, it's all, you know, I don't know, maybe not like a huge amount, but it's definitely been touched on.
Yeah.
for sure.
Because that would be my thought in this conversation is like stuff with the music industry. But like, I feel like most things that I've watched throughout all of the music anime I've watched encompass like most of that stuff. I guess composition would maybe be the one thing.
Yeah, they usually skip over the comp. It's like, yeah, you go write the music. It's like, yep, all right, I'll
Yeah.
do that, and then they have it.
So like something more focused on composition potentially, but I also I'm not convinced that I would actually be that interested in it if it existed. It's just an example I think of where it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's like getting into
most
the
music
niche of the
anime
niche.
just most music anime just kind of like compose songs and that's that. Especially fucking shit like Bandorian Love Live. They'll have like one episode where they're like, you have to compose songs, and then the solution is either someone just learns how to compose songs, just like that, or they find someone who knows how to compose songs.
I don't even feel like the original Love Live even went into. They're like, yep, we have music. And it's like, oh, okay.
Did it? Yeah. Did it address composition? I don't think
I
it
honestly, I don't
did.
fucking know.
It might have a little bit.
It might
It
have
might have
for like
found
half
someone
a
who knew
second.
how to write songs. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, very goofy niche thing that, you know, it's rarely ever going to get touched on.
Yeah.
Actually, Maki composes, doesn't she?
Muck. Lovely.
I'm pretty sure that was probably her character arc. Was composition.
Oh, I guess
Because the redhead is always composed.
I think it's just because of like getting older, but like this is like the boomer, but like the boomer in me, but like yeah, I think just like people like doing job like okay, you know what a good example like it's like not Oshinoko, like actually going into the details of like the idol industry and stuff like that. I thought that was like cool because like I think the potential of anime is like it's a it's a it's a type of medium that can express I mean, you just have more creative freedom, right? Because you're just drawing characters, right? You're not having to deal with real people. We talked about this before, but like, um, yeah, just being able to express like real life concepts and ideas in the form of anime. I think that's like something that's like powerful. I think Oshinoko did a really good job of that. Like, there's still a story in Oshinoko, but like they're able to, you know, for people like unfamiliar with like the idol industry in Japan and stuff like that, they're able to get a little bit of insight into that. That's like one example of something like yeah, it doesn't have to be like okay, studying for a test. Okay, obviously that's like a very boring concept. What I mean is more like I guess like taking mundane ideas and just like our worldly you know, it's just like everyday things and like kind of shedding a light on it, like some of the struggles that people have, or just some aspects of life that people aren't very familiar with. I guess that's like more kind of like what I'd be interested in. Yeah,
I mean, I
Oshinoko is like probably a good example.
understand that. I just feel like it can be very difficult to do that with studying. Because
Oh,
like
it is
obviously
very
there are
difficult.
struggles
Yeah,
that
like,
come with that, but you
yeah,
have
No question,
to.
no question.
I feel like it would be such a minuscule part of the story itself that you would almost have to, because what you'd have to do, you'd have to have other like extenuating circumstances for the character. And while you can
Yeah.
definitely have the, you know, like this studying the exams be relevant, it probably wouldn't stand out as that, and you might not even, like, people might not even notice that it is about like the goal was to specifically talk about that struggle, because it might you know, have to focus on other things that people view as the main thing.
So like
It
an interesting
feels
thing
like it just
that I
flies
thought
under the
of
radar.
while you're describing this is like astronauts, for example.
Mhm.
Like a series talking about just like the daily life of an astronaut.
Yo, that'd be
Like,
sick.
it's a
Actually, I'd
yeah,
watch that.
it's like a profession that's like at least
Yeah,
at a
let's go
glance
profession. Just pick, pick a cool profession.
interesting, and it has concepts that could at least be compelling
Yeah,
enough that I might be like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I
yeah,
wonder
and
what
it's
it's
like
like being an astronaut.
it's a very uncommon profession, right? Like it's a very rare
Yeah.
profession that a lot of people don't know like a lot of the details of, right? It's just like, oh, they just go into space, bro. But like, yeah, that'd be cool. I'd watch that. I mean, maybe we're in the minority, but like I think that'd be pretty cool.
All right, time for an oil rig anime.
Oil rig. We're going to space
I
in general. Space is like something that like I mean I'm sure it's been explored a lot, but like
It's okay. We can go to space in every shonen anime's final arc in existence. Fuck.
like the space station and stuff like that.
Listen, if your
The
shonen
moon.
doesn't go to space, it's shit.
Yeah.
Um, what? While you were describing that, I also had the thought of the first episode of Psalm 100, just 'cause it's funny how the first episode just depicts this guy's fucking horrible job life.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if you'd be able to get like I mean, you could probably get a full thing out of that. It'd be more difficult though, and so it made for an effective like pilot to something else,
Yeah.
but
Uh-huh.
it wasn't.
Like, I'm not using that as an example. I just thought of that while we were talking about it. I was like, that was a fun, like, little sequence to do.
You know, like it worked as like a pilot episode, and you understood like that was the focus. Like, man, his job is dog shit. That and the zombie apocalypse happens. He's like, all right, let's fucking go. I don't have to work anymore. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's like yeah. I don't know if it'd be very
Yeah, it's just
difficult
like
to
a part
get
of the
something
show,
full
right?
out of that because like at some point when you're watching the show, you're like, yeah, his job is dog shit. Just fucking quit,
Yeah,
please.
just click forehead.
Yeah, just quit. And, I'm sure it'll
Don't
be fine.
strike.
But like, it'd probably be difficult to get something complete out of that. At least something that feels like unique. Because I mean, I feel like the character routes you'd have to go down would probably be pretty cliched and done before. And I don't feel like a shitty job offers like enough of a. It has to be like a shitty job with like new like Shirobaka or whatever is with
Yeah,
animation.
Shirobako.
Animation's a shitty job, but it's an interesting job
Yeah,
that a lot of people are interested in. But like,
meta.
Shirobako, the important distinction too is all the characters are like very passion driven, obviously.
yeah, and so when you
Yeah, I
have
think artistic things are like more or easier. Yeah.
yeah, so it's easier to express that and the struggles there and the interesting concepts instead of like, man, I'm sitting in my office typing away. Like, imagine an anime, I'm a fucking programmer. They just gotta sit there for hours and hours typing. It's like, oh, I've written 200 lines of code this episode. Unfortunately, there's an error. I must go all 200 lines of code to see that I've missed a semicolon. Like, just it's difficult to make something interesting out of that as opposed to something more artistic.
Sure. Yep, that makes sense. No anime about taking tests, but one for astronauts sounds
Yeah, they're definitely like the training process, all that shit. Like that could be a cool I could see that as like an anime original. I don't know about like a long scale series, but
Yeah,
like a good like 12, 13 episode original.
it's like almost anime nonfiction in terms of like if I was thinking of a genre of how you would do stuff like that.
mhm.
Stuff that's like long enough that you can get interested in it and also like show you the particular whatever the topic is, but also not dragging out to the point that it's starting to just do shit that's just not real.
Right. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, I can't think of any other examples, but I don't know. Just, I mean, I know fantasy is like a huge thing. I'm just not like. I mean, I shouldn't say I'm not a fan of fantasy, but like, I don't know. I just want some normal people stuff. Just a guy waking up at 5 a.m. to go to his 9 to 5. Or not 5 a.m. I don't know why I said 5 a.m. But like 7 a.m. getting a cup of coffee, going to his 9 to 5. Some boring anime like that. That's what I need.
See, I'm an escapist, so
Yeah,
I
that's it.
know.
That's it for a lot of people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
And that's
I
not to say I don't like those shows, but yeah.
can only imagine how. I don't know, at what point do you? I can imagine someone like is like a gag manga, like literally just making it the 9 to 5, and all the panels are the
It's just
same
a
every
parody
week.
of like, yeah.
Didn't I read this chapter last week?
That would
Oh
be
wait,
kinda
that's
funny.
actually good. That's actually good. Yeah. And then you get the weekend version, and it's like
Yeah,
Standard use for one
you
day.
go through 5 days, Monday to Friday, then Saturday is completely different.
Yo, we just created a new like
I mean,
concept for
aren't there
like a
like American newspaper comics that do shit like that too, though?
Probably.
like literally repeating the same comic over and over. I don't know about that, but
Well,
Yeah,
no, but like the Monday 9 to 5, that's
yeah,
basically
yeah,
the
yeah.
same every
That kind
day.
of stuff is like always. Yeah, it's. I mean, there's like a lot of office comics and stuff like that. I think that's like a good example, right? Like, obviously, anime is different, but like those like newspaper comics, they always like kind of focus in on the. Well, it's for mass appeal, right? Like, you're not going to throw in like magic and stuff in a newspaper, but like, yeah, those. I always like those comics because they like focus on like work and like funny situations that happen at work and stuff like that.
yeah. Speaking of American comics, it was like a few weeks ago. I saw just a random tweet like, it's like Garfield for X amount of issues. Then Garfield when it gets to this specific part, it's like for just 4 editions, Garfield got really like dark and existential, and just then went back to normal. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Because they linked whatever. Go read it. It was certainly something else. But yeah, I mean, doesn't mean anything. Just irrelevant, goofy knowledge.
Sure. Yeah.
Speaking of dark, though, there's another manga I started because it's on Manga Plus, Shonen Jump, or whatever, and they already had translations with like to go along with the first chapter, which is pretty rare. I feel like sometimes for something to be translated right away. It's called Shoujo Null. It's
Shoujo
pretty
Null.
like edgy, gruesome first chapter. I don't even know how to really describe it, but it's like robots gone rogue type of story. I've only read chapter 1, but there's a second one out, but I haven't read it yet. It's got pretty decent art. I don't know how I don't know what to think
Is it
about
like a
it. But
cyberpunk style like
it's like robot
thing?
servants type shit.
Okay, sure.
And
So-
like a military robot escapes, and that military robot does not like people. And
Okay.
yeah, that's like, I don't know. I'm not gonna add it. Fuck, I barely remember chapter 1 to
One
be honest.
chapter,
But
yeah. I got you. I
yeah.
got you. Okay, it's an interesting concept.
I mean, not really. It's just pretty.
No,
Yeah, I feel like
I mean, I haven't.
I feel like it's a typical like AI robot type of
Okay, yeah.
concept so far.
I
It's
understand.
just we'll see where it goes from here.
Okay, I got you. Okay, I didn't know this was like. I mean, I'm not familiar with like AI stories, so.
Yeah, no, I mean, not like one time. It was Ajak when he started reading Solo Leveling. He's like, "This concept's insane." I'm like, "You sure?
Okay,
You
yeah,
haven't
yeah,
seen
yeah.
the 10,000
Oh,
isekai
are you good?
in Japanese that are the exact same thing basically."
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everything's first time for everything.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh.
I guess something completely. I guess it's not technically completely detached from anime.
Mhm.
I got my first fake sponsor email. That was cool.
I think you did tell me about this.
No, I told you about the other one. So
Or you told me about the other. Okay.
I don't know if I said it on the podcast or not either. So the first one I got was from like a company. It's like, hey, if you, I think it might have been post podcast. If you do this thing or like use our mic, we'll send you a mic. You use it in one of your videos, but I declined because I would have had to like say I made a video on the vending machine isekai. It would have had to been like the title and then like recorded by this hyper specific mic or whatever. And
Put
like
everything in the title.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. That's gonna like murder the video. And so I'm like, appreciate it, but for like a $200 mic, I'm not gonna throw away an entire video basically.
Right. Yeah.
This is a different one though. This is for a scam VPN service
Okay.
from VPN Master Pro. They just actually sent me a follow-up email. However, I'm not stupid, and so I just put it in spam. But they're like, as an avid fan of your channel, I bet you are, Andrew. We'd love to collaborate. Our world-class engineering team has developed VPN Master Pro. That's why you've never heard of it before. A highly rated VPN software with a broad global user base. It was very difficult to find their website for some reason. I don't know why. But then when I found it, it did not seem very credible. And while I don't doubt I might have be able to get, I don't know, they just feel like a data stealing type of thing. Like,
Yeah. A lot of these companies are.
yeah, like I'm sure if I downloaded their VPN app or whatever, it would probably be, I don't know, from what I looked into, it did not seem very credible. I can't even find it on like fucking Google Play if I type it in immediately. I think
Bro.
VPN Proxy Master some shit is another.
Oh, okay. That's a perfect name. That sounds like the most stock standard name for like a malware or
Yeah,
something.
I don't know. Like it's just it's a free VPN thing, and it's like yeah. I bet I don't know. Some of these like probably like work generally, but they're there to data siphon with.
Yeah. I'm not into that,
So
that's probably a choice not to go with that.
yeah, they didn't really like give me an offer really either. Like, how much would it be? And I'm like, well, that's not. I don't know how much it would be because I've never done any of this before. But yeah, so that was cool. I had a real one and then a fake one not too long after that.
There you go. Oh, another thing I was going to mention was like that I forgot to mention with the link click thing was like, I mean, I'm not sure. You guys probably know more about this than I do, but like the subs for like different shows, right? Like whoever does the subs, like, I mean, at least for me, when I watch like shows subbed, like the subs seem pretty good, right? Like there's not like too many like grammar errors or like sentences that don't make sense, right?
Yeah.
But like link click, I assume it's because there's just not that many people working on like Chinese shows, but like not that the subs were like hard to follow, but they were like sometimes it was awkward. So I guess that's like one thing that's like a downside. I mean, it didn't detract from like my experience that much or anything, but like sometimes I had to like rewind and like, wait a minute, what did they say? Just because like the sentence kind of didn't make sense with the context of like the show, or it felt like things were like being directly translated when like it should be like interpreted in a different way before it's translated. Um so yeah, that's like I guess one downside about the Chinese shows. At least this one. I don't know about the others, but I assume just with the normal anime from Japan, it's like there's a bigger and more experienced people, bigger teams and like more experienced people working on the subs that make it like good.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. I assume you're watching it on Crunchyroll. That or are you watching on Crunchyroll or your favorite alternative website?
favorite alternative
That would
website.
probably so. What'll happen sometimes is like you might be getting fan subs potentially.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
For sure.
entirely surprised by that. I can look on what it.
It's on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, it's on
Yeah, 'cause
Crunchyroll, and
I
they have
actually remember.
season 1 too. Let me
Basketball
see.
tag.
Yeah, like looking on one of my alternative websites that sometimes has like the Blu-ray. They don't have it on here. I don't even know if there is a Blu-ray
Right.
for this. It's an O&A actually. I think those are like online airing, so maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like sometimes with alternative sites, you might be getting like fan sub shit.
Yeah. Because I do remember, I think one or two of the episodes had like a different template for the subs. Like the font was different, so I think it was probably just like a different team. I don't know which
Yeah,
one was
like
the
some of
official
them
one.
might be the official, some of them might be the fan sub.
Yeah, I couldn't tell which was which. Yeah, I don't know enough about like other shows to determine whether something's fan subbed or not. So, uh, yeah, I guess that's something I have to watch out for. Is it usually like, I guess like for
It varies.
shows that aren't broadcast, whatever, like aren't provided on like Crunchyroll and like Funimation and stuff like that. Well, I guess Funimation, but like you know what I mean. Like for those like the fan subs, are they done by like a team, or like is it just like one person who's like a fan
Generally,
doing it? Like
it'll be one person.
okay, yeah,
Like
just one
with
person.
manga, they'll be like scanlation teams.
Right,
But
yeah,
when it comes to anime, generally, I'm pretty sure one
right,
person will just go through, which is what leads to a lot of dog shit subs. Sometimes you'll get
yeah,
like with Summertime Render, there was a really good fan subber who was doing it. Bless his heart, because that shit was on Disney Jail for a while. And it was funny because like I had gone back and I'd seen like some of the Disney versions. They fucking copied that man like bar for bar basically, except they removed like some of like the cursing moments that the other guy put in.
Yeah.
So that was funny. But yeah, I mean generally I think just one person.
Yeah. So is it usually like one? Is there like how do I say this? Like, is there one person subbing for like a lot of different shows, or is it just like one person who's a fan of that show subbing it? Like,
I don't I don't know the answer to that. I mean,
you don't know? Okay, yeah, fair enough. I assume. I mean, I assume there has to be like had to have been like people who sub like multiple shows, like obviously more than multiple shows, but like, you know, like 10, 20, 30 different shows. And I doubt it's just like a random like fan of the show just like subbing it just for
yeah, like
fun, you know?
on the official websites for sure, it'll be like
Yeah, on the official ones, of course,
they'll
it's different.
stick, you know, Johnny on like Rent a Girlfriend, even though he dropped it season 1 or whatever.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
mean more
just
about the fan subs. Yeah, I guess it's
yeah, fan subs. I mean, we'll never know because like who knows who
yeah,
even fucking makes most of these. But yeah, I mean,
yeah,
with
of course.
I don't know, you can I don't know, even like no, like the real subs aren't always perfect. Like you'll definitely see fuck ups every now and then.
Yeah,
I don't
for
know what
sure.
show I've been seeing fuck ups on recently, but fuck, there's something. I don't remember what it is, but every now and then you'll just see
Yeah,
something goofy.
I've been lucky enough to not have noticed anything too big from other shows I've seen. But that's just
Yeah,
yeah.
the
Maybe it's
official ones generally tend to like they'll fuck up like once, like a little typo or whatever. They're probably trying to get their job done on time.
sure. Yeah, I don't blame them for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, there was a Jujutsu Kaisen dub mess up that I linked earlier. It was pretty funny. But, like it horrific. Like with dubs, they'll have to like match the like the like the lips, like the lip syncing.
Yeah.
Which like surely there was a way they could have like they fucked it up pretty bad in this. Like I can't really talk about it without spoiling things, but someone referred to they're like referring to someone's child and they're like, oh yeah, I named him that, but then they said I named my curse spirit that. I'm like, these are two completely different things. They're like, that's really rough. You know, dubs are just they need more attention, you'd think. Like surely they bring in enough viewers.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think sometimes with dubs, obviously, it's just like also the disconnect because like I think we talked about this before, but like Japanese voice actors, they all like I think generally they'll like record together, right? But like for dubs, it's like people will like record separately and stuff like that. That might contribute a little bit to the disconnect. Maybe not with the translation like you were mentioning, but like the tone from one character to another, which can like make even like perfect translations kind of awkward. So that's like another thing. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Um, yeah, we'll see how the second season of Link Click goes in terms of subs, but it was fine. It wasn't like
Yeah.
it didn't make it bad. Like it didn't ruin it for me. That's all, which is fine.
Yeah. I don't believe I have anything else for this week.
No, I don't. I don't either. I think for me, it's just catching up with like wherever Link Click is, and then I guess Attack on Titan because yeah, that's been sitting there. So
Yeah, I gotta catch up on my seasonals. There's some I'm very much far behind on.
oh, I haven't watched.
I'm like halfway through catching up on some of them. I think tonight I might try and watch Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence finally.
What was it called?
I read a couple chapters of the manga for it. I don't know, like I might read a few every now and then. I don't think it's something I'm like desperate to like catch up on.
Yeah, the only one I was watching was the pastry isekai anime, which I think I'm behind by 2 episodes, if I recall correctly. I finished episode 4 or 5 last, I think. I forget. So yeah, I have to catch up on that. That's the only one. I mean, it's okay. It's whatever. It's average. I'm not like excited about it like I am for Link Click. So
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh boy, the pastry isekai.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's whatever.
Out of all the anime this season, that was the one.
dude, it's. I mean, I like the food. I like the food in the show. It's cool. That's it. That's
I'm
about
also
it.
sick and tired of Pokemon episode coming out and not being on any website for a day. We came out 12 hours ago, and I cannot find this episode anywhere. Mini rant over.
But yeah, that will be the end of this here episode. If you enjoyed, then you should subscribe or follow on whatever platform you may be on. If you're on the YouTube side of things and you like to go to the audio only, you can go to the links down below and it'll take you to our page, which will then link the respective platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. If you are on the audio only and like to go to the YouTube, is the order and anime podcast, can't possibly miss it. We are the only one. New episodes every Saturday, 3 p.m. EST without fail, except for when we do. Thank you, and we will see you in another episode, hopefully.